Hello, so I'm here on Haye-on-Wye. Here is the fit for today, and we are off to go to all the bookshops. So, I hope you enjoyed my little tour of sorts of Haye-on-Wye. I thought I'd just pop in at the end here. I'm actually back home now. I arrived back yesterday, and I thought I'd just show you some of my purchases that I got. I ended up picking up 20 books, which sounds like a lot, but honestly, a lot of these books are like really small, old secondhand books. I kind of went into nostalgia mode, to be honest, when I was there, and I ended up picking up like mostly like a lot of kids' books that were books that I used to love when I was younger. I was looking for some specific ones as well, which I managed to find a couple of them, which I was really happy about. So I'll go through the actual book haul in a minute, but I wanted to show some other things that I got that was just really cool. So I found this really cute little farm shop. It was mostly selling like ciders and that kind of stuff, which I'm not a drinker, so I didn't buy anything, but I thought it was really cute. It's called the Wobbly Owl, and whilst I didn't buy any of the ciders, I did however get a print, which you can see here. Basically, the owners of the shop, their daughter, designs pictures that goes on all like for each kind of thing that they make, and I just fell in love with the artwork. I thought it was super cute, so I ended up picking this one, which is for Tipsy Tawny Cider, and yeah, it's adorable. We're both big owl fans in our home, so this is probably going to go in the front room. But yeah, super cute. Definitely recommend checking out their stuff, even if just to see the art, because hella cute. I also picked up this really cool print that I just kind of fell in love with. I don't know what it is about it. Like, it gives me, I don't know, like weird Alice in Wonderland vibes or something. Called Cormorants of Advair, from an original artwork by Judy Marcel, who was an artist in like the 1980s, I believe. It's just a card, but I just thought it was really cool, so I picked that up. I have this little postcard because I went to, as you probably saw, Haye-on-Wye, which had just opened up their new store literally on the day we arrived. Like, we got there and we were looking around on the Saturday, and they just literally opened their doors for the first day. They'd previously been at a venue next door, which was a bit smaller. I thought it was super cute. I bought a couple of books and I got this postcard as well. Really cute, queer bookshop. And the final really cool thing that I got was a very unexpected find. If you know me, you know that The Night Circus is my favourite book of all time. And I managed to find like the tarot set, which is kind of based around it, by Erin Morgenstern. It's super cool. It's called the Phantom Wise Tarot. And yeah, everything is kind of like black and white themed, and like all themed around like the circus, but essentially. So yeah, that was a really great find. I was so happy I found this. Okay, onto the books themselves. I'm not gonna go through every book. I just want to show you what I got, basically, rather than like telling you about exactly what every single book is about. I am currently collecting all of the Buffy books to do like a whole series reading video, hopefully next year. So I did manage to find one more, which is Child of the Hunt, whilst I was there. I managed to find like a whole pile of Buffy books, and I was so excited, and I had everything except this one. So yeah, it was a shame because I would have been amazing to find a whole bunch, but yeah, I basically had every other single one already because I've got a pretty sizable pile going on like over there, which I think I have maybe like 50 something so far of like the 90 or so books that there is. But yeah, I managed to find one more to add to that collection. This next batch of books here are basically all me just picking up a whole bunch of nostalgia books for really cheap secondhand. We have Witch Child by Celia Rees. I only read this once and I really loved this. I think it was probably like one of the first like historical witchy books I've ever read. And yeah, I had a really good time with this back when I read it originally, and I've been actually wanting to read it again recently, so this was perfect when I managed to find a copy of it. So yeah, I got that. I picked up 2 Jacqueline Wilson books. I was looking for just in general for any kind of Jacqueline Wilson books that were like old favourites of mine, and there was about a couple of others, but these were the only 2 that really stuck out to me. So I've got Glub Slime, which is like this weird little fantasy where a girl kind of like has a friendship breakup and finds like a magical toad that helps her do things, basically. It's pretty cute. It's on the younger spectrum, but I remember really enjoying it. And The Suitcase Kid, which was kind of sad, more for the younger age one, but basically it's about this girl who her parents split up and go into 2 families, and she's kind of shuttling back and forth between them every single week. And like how that affects her mentally, like pretty badly, to be honest. I don't know, apparently it was the winner of the Children's Book Award. I then, in a charity shop, funnily enough, managed to find a copy of The Guest Cat by Takeshi Hirade. This is kind of like on that vein of like cute but sad slice of lifey Japanese contemporary fiction. That's kind of pretty big at the moment. So yeah, I'm excited to read this. It's like super short, but I anticipate it being a cute read. So a funny thing about this, you know when you read a series and you completely forget its existence until you see it again, and then you're like, oh my god, this series. I actually ended up getting 4 books in this series, and it's a series by Lucy Daniels called Animal Arc. I read these to death when I was a kid. Like, I loved these books. I don't think they're particularly great. It's essentially just all about like this girl that helps out at like an animal rescue place, I think, and all the adventures they get up to with these like various like kind of rare animals. So before we even got to Haye-on-Wye, we stopped at like a supermarket and they had like a bunch of like books that were just like there for free, and I found this, which was Dolphins in the Deep. I think this is the American cover because this does not at all look like what I'm used to seeing, to be honest. This is like a redo of it, I don't know. So yeah, I found this and automatically I was like, oh my god, Animal Arc, it's been so long, I kind of want to reread these books. So when I was there, I was kind of keeping an eye out and I found 3 more. I've actually read these 2 already as well. I may have read Dolphin in the Deep, I don't remember. But yeah, so this one is number, oh my god, like 20 something, I think. 22, I think that one is. I found number 17, which is Wombats in the Wild, which is when they go to Australia. I definitely read this one. And I also found Whale in the Waves, which is number 34. I believe there's like, I don't know, like 90 books or something. Oh yeah, I found this from this really cool bookshop which was actually out of Haye-on-Wye called The New Strand. Really good bookshop, by the way. Highly recommend. And then I found this one, which I definitely not read before because it's like a spin-off series called Animal Arc Pets. And this is like a Christmas book, basically, called Pets Party. So this is like a bit thinner than the others. But yeah, they were just really cute reads and I was just like, oh, I really want to reread them. So I will probably do some sort of video next year where I'm just kind of like reading those basically. And then the final 3 I got was actually another series that I've been looking for recently, but it's really hard to find them because these books are German originally and it's hard to find English copies of them basically, and not all of them actually got translated and brought over to the UK. But it's a little vampire series. You may have seen the movie. But just, I think I saw the movie first, but then they had some copies of the books, like, in my primary school, so I remember reading them and being obsessed with them. So I've been wanting to, like, find the series again, basically. It's by Angela Summer Bodenberg, and I managed to find 3 of them, shockingly. So I found, I think this is, like, book 6, 7, and maybe like 12 or something in the series is what I have here. But we have The Little Vampire in Danger. We have The Little Vampire and the Veil of Doom. In the Veil of Doom, sorry. And then we have The Little Vampire meets Count Dracula. I found this one first, actually. But yeah, I was just so excited to find these. This is, again, such a nostalgic thing for me. And like, I don't know if they're gonna be good or not. But I just really loved this series when I was young because I never was able to read more than like 1 or 2 of the books because, like I said, like they're hard to find even back then when they were like actually being published. So yeah, they were some really good finds that I found. A big ol' nostalgia section here. Didn't buy many new books, honestly. Like, the place is known for being secondhand books, so I did only buy a couple of new books. 2 of those new books were actually from the queer bookshop Haye-on-Wye. They were books that I actually have been looking for and haven't been able to find anywhere else. So I picked up The Poison We Drink by Bethany Baptiste, and this is so thick. So I read an arc for this originally back before it released, and I really liked it. I gave it like a 4-star, and I like pre-ordered the hardback for it to come out. And then there just was never a hardback release. And then by that time, like, the paperback just wasn't really in the shops anymore. So I managed to find this there. So I picked it up straight away because I was like, well, if I can't get a hardback, I still want it. This is really good. It is basically about a bisexual witch. And there is, like, a lot of stuff to do with her family. And she's a witch that specializes in love potions, which basically goes into, like, you can make people do various things. And that kind of gets taken advantage of. But yeah, really good book, highly recommend. It is just definitely more on the thick side, but I really enjoyed it. And then I also picked up a horror called Chlorine. This has been doing the rounds, I think. It's by Jade Song, and I just really want to read this. Like, any kind of weird horror, particularly if it's queer, is always going to be up my alley. So yeah, I picked this up. This is basically about sapphic carnivorous mermaids, I think. They're on like a swimming team, I think. And yeah, I don't really know what happens. It's quite short, so I don't really want to look into it too much. But yeah, I'm really excited to read this because it's a vibe and I love it. Next, I found a couple of secondhand books that I managed to find really cheap. I managed to find a hardcover version of the 13th Anita Blake Vampire Hunter books, Dance Macabre. I really love this series. I've been trying to collect them all, and weirdly enough, I was the only one that was on this like shelf that was like all books at £1 only. And I was like checking my spreadsheet because I couldn't remember which ones I had or didn't have. And literally, I had everything going up to like book 18, apart from book 13. So that was perfect. It is like a little bit, you know, wrecked, but it's a hardback, which I love. And yeah, I want all these books. So yeah, that was exciting find because I really needed this one. I then managed to find a secondhand copy of Immortal Longings for a good price. In fact, I don't even think it's secondhand. Like, it is in pretty much perfect condition, but it's been downmarked to like £10, I think. Yeah, this one is, I believe, the Antony and Cleopatra retelling, Chloe Gong, and I've like kind of interested in reading this. I missed out on getting, I think it was like the Fairy Loot edition, and this isn't the Fairy Loot edition because it's like no sprayed edges. It's just the standard Waterstones edition, but like I want to read this and I prefer books in hardback. So yeah, I was really happy when I found this. And then finally, this was a recommendation from my cousin, but also I'm just trying to read a lot of this guy's books anyway next month because I'm going to an author event with him and another folk horror author. But this is Devil's Due by Andrew Michael Hurley. So I read Starvacre by this author before, and I have The Loney already. Wow, these books go so well together. Like, these could be twins. And then they had this in like the cheap secondhand hardback section in, I think it was Booth Books. And my cousin had read it and said it was really good. So yeah, I picked this one up as well. So I'll probably try and get to this next month, ideally. We'll see. And the last 3 books that I got are the pretty books. So I went to this shop called Murder and Mayhem, which I was really excited about. Like, you probably saw, it is stunning. They do everything in like this like really cool gothic sort of vibe throughout the whole store. And the whole store basically just sells like mysteries, thrillers, and horror. Not too much horror, unfortunately. I was hoping there'd be a bit more horror, but that is kind of the vibe. And one of the biggest things they do is a lot of Agatha Christie. They have a lot of like first edition Agatha Christie's. And I was like, I want to get something from here just as a souvenir. And I feel like buying my first Agatha Christie from this bookshop is the way to go. So I didn't actually end up getting one of the first editions. I got what I think was like a second printing or something, but it's one I feel like was perfect to pick up. So this is one of the Poirot stories. It's Murder on the Orient Express, which you've probably heard of it. It's one of the most famous Agatha Christie's out there. But yeah, I'm not big on Marple. I used to watch a lot of like the Poirot and Marple stuff with my mom back when it was like David Suchet was Poirot, and he's like my Poirot basically. I've seen one of the new films of Kenneth Branagh, and I'm not a big fan of it, I've got to say. But yeah, I just really was like, if I'm going to pick one up, I want it to be this one, I think, because it's such a good vibe, like the murder mystery on the train. And yeah, it's really cool. I say, well, it wasn't super expensive because it's not actually an original, but I was just happy to have this, and I think it's really cool. So yeah, I will be reading that, I guess, at some point in the future. And then the final books I picked up, so they had these special editions there, which you probably saw, and I've never seen these before. And I just think they're stunning. They're by Flame Tree Publishing, and they just basically do like a whole bunch of like various short stories on different topics, all bundled up into like these really pretty decorative volumes. I feel like they're maybe not amazing, but I love short story collections, and I love how these were separated out, and I just think they're stunning. So I really wanted to get at least one of these before I went. It was really hard for me to pick, actually, because they all sounded great. I love me some Japanese ghost stories. So I ended up picking up the one that is Asian Ghost Short Stories. You can see how gorgeous this is. This is just, it's just so pretty. Like, such a work of art, honestly. Like, it looks like this. And then all the stories are kind of small text and stuff, but they're all very cool, and there's like loads of them. So yeah, I picked up this one, and yeah, I feel like it's the kind of thing that I would like pick it up and I'll just like read one a day or something over a month. I think that would be really fun. So I got this one, and then whilst I was rummaging around trying to work out which one I wanted to buy, I was almost going to get a sci-fi one, but then I was like, I really want ghost stories. So I picked that up, and I managed to find this one as well, which was reduced down to $4.99 because it's damaged. And I don't really care about the damage that's on this. Basically, it's got some, like, a bit of battering up here, and it's got some water damage that you can see here. But honestly, like, it's absolutely fine on the inside, apart from a little bit of crinkling from the water damage. So it's still perfectly readable. And I still think it's gorgeous, even with the damage. So this is one of the sci-fi ones, and it's Dystopia Utopia short stories. I ended up getting that too, just because I was like, it was reduced. And like, I kind of want to collect all these books now because they're just gorgeous. Like these, and I think it's like the Chilton editions or something, are just stunning. So yeah, I ended up getting these two unexpectedly. I was only going to get one, but I was not going to leave this for how cheap it was, and the damage is not even that bad. So yeah, that is my entire collection. I don't even want to try and pick these up because there's so many of them. It's going to be pretty horrible. But yeah, I was pretty happy with what I found. Even though I bought like 20 books, I didn't really spend that much money because a lot of the books were really cheap secondhand books. I'm really happy with my haul. I was a little sad there was still some books that I was specifically looking for that I couldn't find. Like I was really looking for some of the old like Wheel of Time books that are like the black cover with the coloured logo on them, because that's the one I want to continue collecting. So I was hoping I could find some of those. No luck. I was hoping I could maybe find some like Sean Maguire, maybe more Jacqueline Wilson books, but overall really happy with my haul. And I had a really good time at Haye-on-Wye. Yeah, it was so good. Yeah, book lover's dream. Basically, would definitely recommend if you're in that neck of the woods. The whole village as well was just so cute and cozy and charming. Not a lot of options in terms of food, I would say, so look into that before you go. Definitely really had a good time. Yeah, it was just really good. I'll end off this vlog here, I guess. As always, stay safe, stay cozy, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!